Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another Starcraft Remastered replay cast from the South Korean ladder, very recent replay from August 2025. As we have Rush, who is spawning now here in the upper right part as the brown Terran. So quite a known figure for the Terrans. Rush, of course, the ASL champion in previous seasons. And his opponent here spawning in the lower right in the blue, it is Sherry, also very good player. I've casted a very long game from him. Quite a strong skill by him, very high APM as you can see. Sadly, I don't know who this South Korean player is. Perhaps you guys can let me know into the comment section. Maybe I'm going to Google for him. But yeah, we should have, of course, a very interesting game. As you can see, not such a long game, just 18 minutes, but still should be a very good one here in between the two pros on a 4 spawning location map. As always, in the upper left part, the production tab. And we will check out the build orders just like we do in all of the previous replays here onto this channel. Yeah, it's still bad graphics because I'm still having issues with my internet, but yeah, hopefully in 2 months or 3 it will be fixed. But yeah, still Starcraft Broodwar here at its beginning. I believe it was 1989, so yeah, bad graphics here, but yeah, still a popular game, especially in South Korea. Now let's have a look at the build order. Pylon into gateway for Sherry and supply depot into barracks, so pretty normal stuff. No intentions for them to go into a abusive early gameplay, no cheesy gameplay by them actually, so quite a normal stuff here. And yeah, let's have a look what exactly their intentions are, when exactly they will start to scout the map. Looks like Rush seems to be the first one scouting. Of course, it's very important to know what exactly your opponent is up to, as we do see gas and a very fast cybernetic score here for Sherry. So it looks like he's going for some early Dragoons. Of course, into the early game they can be very strong, especially against Marines, even against tanks if they're nicely getting microed. And the Terran will very likely go for some tanks and for some Goliaths, even some Vultures, of course, as most Terrans really like to go into mech of a build order versus the opponent, versus the Protoss, and even versus the Zerg into a late game, as we saw Flash do this onto this channel. So yeah, there we have the factory. First factory is getting built, supply depot is also getting finished. He might also try to save some minerals for his expansion. In the meantime, there's the first scouting here for Sherry, either that or he's actually going to be going for his expansion. Yeah, and there it is. Did he cancel something? I believe he didn't have enough minerals, so perhaps he did cancel something in order to have those minerals for the Nexus. Yeah, now in comes the SCV. He should be able to see the early Nexus. This could of course be punished by the Terran with some Marines, with some Vultures, even some SCVs that can be pulled early on. He already has 3 Marines. Factory is also almost getting done, so Rush might try to punish this greedy gameplay here by the Protoss. But we also have the first Dragoon, and the range, the very important upgrade here for the Dragoons, has also already started and is almost halfway done here. So the SCV will of course see this, and with that I believe Rush is going to be playing it indeed safe, also going for a expansion on his own. So yeah, the normal stuff. Both players will very likely orientate into a more macro game right now, as some Vultures will of course cast some mines onto the ground, and the Protoss will very likely answer with some observatory very soon. There's the robotics facility bay, or some Reavers could also be an interesting option here for the Protoss. A shuttle with Reaver, quite deadly versus the Terran SCVs, and of course versus the Terran units as well, as the Dragoon just keeps on patrolling here the map. So yeah, pretty normal stuff like I told you. Let's have a look exactly what Sherry is up to with that robotics facility bay, as we see more Vultures getting produced here for the Terran. I believe the mine upgrade has also started. There it is. So with that, the Terran will of course try to keep the Protoss as much as he can at bay, but a very sneaky move here by him. Interesting position for a starboard. So with that, it looks like Rush is going to try a dropship harassment versus the opponent, and this can be actually quite deadly versus the economy from the Protoss. Of course, 2 Vultures can one-shot a probe, and Sherry actually has no idea about this. a little bit of a pause going on here. As you can see, Sherry is also from Korea. Sadly, I don't know who this pro is, but yeah, playing really well on the ladder. And now he has to face Rush, one of the best Terrans there currently is in 2025. Sometimes mines are getting planted here. The add-on is going to be completed very soon, and we will indeed see a attack here, but this pylon will give good vision here for Sherry. However, he is going to be needing some defenses at home, as he's at 3 gateways right now. And yeah, all of his defenders are actually here in the front, but they will be needed very soon into the back, as 3 vultures will be ready to hop into this dropship and cause chaos towards the main here from Sherry. So very nice move here by Rush. Actually 4 vultures already here for him. Let's see what exactly he can do versus the economy, as it is of course a very defensive gameplay here by the Protoss. Same can be said here for Rush, but with a small exception. This dropship right here, nicely hidden. Even some mines giving good cover here towards this dropship. There's the pylon. Let's see how fast Sherry can relate to this attack. In comes the drop. The pylon sees of course everything. The Dragoons sadly here for him are out on the map, and with that all of a sudden Rush might have a huge advantage here. Sniping some probes. 3 have been lost, as more damage is being taken here left and right. Another probe, 2 more probes have been rushed, and with that Rush having now 3 more workers than the opponent. At the same time, we do see a move out here by the Dragoons from Sherry, but there is a tank in the back. There are some Marines into this bunker, and yeah, I believe Rush should of course be fine. So the harassment seems to have stopped here. He could of course try another drop in order to inflict more damage. It could be a possibility, but yeah, Rush decides to play it actually safe. However, a second drop could inflict even more damage, but I guess he needs some vultures in the back to have some defenses, as this could be quite a deadly attack here by Sherry, moving all of his Dragoons in the front, trying to attack of course the tanks. Nice reaction here by Rush, microing them immediately out of danger, but now there's so many Dragoons being left alive. The SCVs are in the front giving good cover. The main targets will of course be the tank, and even the bunker has been sniped. So with that, Sherry all of a sudden into a very commanding position here now. Tank is in the back sieging up. He should be able to hold. He will take some damage, however SCVs should somehow try to repair this tank, as so many Dragoons are still being left alive here for Sherry. So quite a strong move out by him, with lots and lots of Dragoons into the early game, showing us how strong they can be. And now Rush literally has to fight with his SCV. So a very bad situation here for him. Even one Zealot has been brought here forward. Now finally there's the tank. This SCV will of course try to keep him alive as much as they can, staying in the front, giving good cover. But yeah, Rush is losing more and more workers here, and even the tank might get snapped. So what a great early game here by Sherry. At the same time, Sherry also lost a lot of supply of army here, but I believe it was worth it given the fact that so many tanks have also been snapped here. And let's not forget all of those SCVs that have been sniped. So with that, Sherry all of a sudden with almost 10 more workers than the opponent now, Rush should finally be able to hold this, to stabilize. But in the meantime, Sherry even going for another expansion. So a great early push here by Sherry, showing us how strong the Dragoons into the early game can be. And after nicely defending versus the early aggression, he did inflict major damage towards the economy here from Rush. Also took some casualties, of course, did sacrifice lots and lots of Dragoons there, but did also snipe those tanks, and Rush still tries to recover economic wise as Sherry closes towards 50 of a supply here. So what a great early start we have here, with a nice harassment by Rush and the immediate response here by Sherry versus the economy. And I believe now he even has a shuttle out, so shuttle with 1 Reaver. Let's have a look, where exactly is he going to attack, as there's so many mines here into this location, and even a turret for him. So yeah, vultures once again he might try once again to do a drop, perhaps this time into this location. It could be very hard, as now Sherry finally understands the situation. He leaves some Dragoons behind, and I believe he should be fine. Even 1 shuttle is ready here to engage with the Reaver. So yeah, with that I believe Sherry should be fine. Maybe some probes will be snapped. The Reaver needs to attack here, and yeah, a couple of those probes You even have the cannon here for Sherry, so Sherry prepared for any situation here. Very, very nice gameplay by him. In the meantime, the Terran might try to expand into this location, as he has to play it very defensively right now. So yeah, this expansion also up here for the Protoss. Sorry. So yeah, with that, the economic advantage seems to be once again in favor for the Protoss, as the Terran tries of course to attack here, try to keep the Protoss at bay with his vultures, with his tanks in the back. But yeah, the mines will of course be cleared here immediately by all of those dragoons. And yeah, what exactly can the response here from Rush be? I believe another expansion could be a good idea for him. More tanks, to play it more safe, to play it more macro orientated, but he needs another expansion of course, as more and more workers are getting added here for Sherry. And we did pass the 10-minute mark. I believe still anyone's game, but Rush really behind after that early push by Sherry. And let's have a look what the next steps will be. The map is of course getting scouted by those observers. Lots and lots of mines onto the ground here for the Terran as well. A very defensive gameplay now here for Rush. Of course, after taking so much damage, this could be his expansion indeed, as he might float it here forward towards the other location. In the meantime, we do see a move out here by Sherry. Let's see if he's going to try to attack here. Speed will be done very soon. We even have Psionic Storm on the start here for the Protoss. In the meantime, lots and lots of tanks here for Rush, as he is at a 5 factory build order with an armory in the back. Let's have a look into his upgrades. 1 weapons, as the observer has been sniped here, so a good snipe here by Rush, as he's now slowly but steadily moving out to secure his other expansion point. And yeah, lots and lots of shuttles here ready for Sherry, so very interesting gameplay here by him. No decision to go for arbiters. Actually, I believe that shuttles are a much better idea for the Protoss versus the Terran than arbiters, as you can take the shuttle and just drop those zealots straight towards those tanks, and the tanks will actually deal damage towards themselves. Let's see if it's going to work out. Goliath is in the back to respond. Speed has of course been done for the zealots. In comes the attack. The reavers will of course be the main damage dealers, but the shuttle has been snapped, and with that Rush with a great hold, the shuttle has been snapped, and the 2 reavers have been snapped here as well, as only the dragoons are being left, and in the back the tanks should be able to secure the zone right here for the expansion. So a great defense here indeed by Rush, as now Sherry is the one taking major damage, and he has to kite back. He has to of course abandon this position. A good defense by Rush, targeting the important units, the shuttle with the reavers. And yeah, with that he's able to hold and also inflict good damage towards the opponent. Economic wise, however, he's still behind. He needs to build 20 more workers as fast as he can towards the expansion, as Sherry has once again taken another expansion here. So good pull here once again. Good attack here by Sherry with those shuttles, just inflicting so much damage thanks to those mines, and even that the tanks are dealing damage towards themselves with the splash damage. So nice abusive gameplay here by Sherry with the shuttles, showing us the strengths into the middle of the game of the shuttle drop with the zealots. And yeah, now Rush once again on the defense. 73 workers here for Sherry. He's closing towards 80 workers. What a great game here by him, economic wise. Yeah, Rush responding with some mines, but he is very, very much still behind, even though he did snipe the shuttle and the 2 reavers. He has to come back economic wise versus the opponent, as more and more dragoons will be able to clear out the map. And yeah, shuttles are still online here for the Protoss. For Sherry, 1 weapons is up. Let's have a look at Rush very quickly. 1-1, good upgrades here for him, because it's very important to have those upgrades up and running. So yeah, let's see. Once again, Sherry prepares a drop, perhaps this time with some High Templars. Yes indeed, 4 High Templars are in the back. Let's see what he can do versus all of those tanks, as yeah, in come the shuttles, but they will already take some damage. I believe the SCVs will be targeted, and lots of splash damage indeed here for Sherry, and yet another good cast by him, as he's even going towards an Archon. So Rush dropping towards more and more workers here. Even the mech units are taking some damage out of the casted storm. So Great drops here by Sherry, inflicting panic towards Rush. Very hard game here for Rush indeed, versus the outstanding gameplay here by Sherry with those shuttles. And yeah, Dragoons are still patrolling the map. However, at the same time, Rush is now the one moving out. So having a good supply, having good upgrades. Look at that, all of those probes really snipe. Sherry once again responding with 2 shuttles. Nicely microed them left and right. Zealots are getting dropped even into the back. So the Terran is now busy sniping the Zealots in the back, while the Dragoons in the front don't really take damage now from the tanks. Now finally the tanks will be able to engage. But with that, Sherry has brought some good time towards his buildings here at home. Look at that, he has so many gateways at home, 8 gateways here for him. As now slowly but steadily the tanks are pushing here forward, but not that large size army here for Rush. Still significant, still lots and lots of tanks, and reinforcements actually are pouring here forward. As now in comes the drop once again. So very good response. Rush immediately unsieging, and there are the Reavers once again, the real damage dealers of course versus all of those tanks. Yet another shuttle is getting brought forward, some mines are getting dropped. The micro is really well executed here by Sherry. Now finally one Reaver has been lost, and he is even microing this one Reaver very nicely, very close towards the tank, so that the tank won't be able to deal some damage. The Zealots are pulling those mines towards them, and Rush pretty much throwing everything he has towards the Protoss main expansion point. But yeah, the macro game now from Sherry finally kicking in really strong. Rush of course on a 2 base, actually 3 base now, versus the 5 base strategy here for the Protoss, and the Reaver is now the real damage dealer. And with that, Sherry holds this attack, this important attack here by Rush. And yeah, very hard game here indeed for Rush. What an abusive gameplay here by Sherry, with so many shuttles, even High Templars with Storms versus SCV. And the most important thing, while he did attack, he also did expand. So very hard to execute indeed. I don't know who this pro is, but he played really well versus one of the best Terran who currently is. And yeah, the early drop by Rush, not really inflicting major economic damage towards the opponent, and the counterattack was pretty much devastating here by Rush versus, by Sherry versus Rush, just snapping so many SCVs, so many tanks. I believe that was even the winning move here by Sherry. So very good game once again here by him, or her, who knows. Inflicting good damage towards Rush. And yeah, that counter attack by Sherry, pretty much devastating, just crippling Rush so strong. Very aggressive move indeed here by Sherry. I believe that was the winning move. At some Terrans might have even GG'd out of the game after taking so many casualties out of those Dragoons. And yeah, with that, quite a convincing game, a scary push by Rush. He did throw pretty much everything he had towards the enemy. But yeah, those 8 gateways in the back and the economy of course allowing Sherry to come back easily into this game. And let's not forget that great shuttle gameplay with a great micro, with those Zealots getting dropped left and right and even into the back. And yeah, the Reaver micro was also very good. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This game, like I told you, has been played on the South Korean ladder in August 2025. I'm going to try to be as active as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's Tommy signing out.